Hellhound, DC origin. Hellhound is one of the lesser known villains in the DC universe. He's one of those guys who managed to be a complete badass despite not being a metahuman or a supervillain, which happens to be a common theme in Batman's side of the story. His hatred towards Catwoman and life as a mercenary creates a solid foundation for his tale. The best part here is that we generally see him go against the other bad guys of DC. He's not the only guy to wear this mantle either. This is a title that has been passed down because who wouldn't want a name as cool as Hellhound? So in this video, we will cover the events that unfolded around this totally underrated villain. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Hellhound, the lesser known backstory. The first Hellhound, Kai, was a disciple of the Armless Master, a martial arts master who managed one of the most renowned dojos in Gotham City. Kai was his best student and he was also a superstitious guy. Surprisingly, Kai was also a petty thief on the side. Of course, not many were aware of this. One of Kai's schemes revolved around stealing a figurine of an ancient cat deity known as Bast. This wasn't nearly as simple as it sounded. Kai believed that this figurine could bless its owners with mystical powers, so he stole it for himself. As he performed the ritual, another notorious thief interrupted him, Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman. Apparently, she touched the idol and he believed this tainted the ritual. With Kai being superstitious, he was furious at Selina and he resorted to beating her. Sometime later, Selina tracked Kai's origin to the dojo and she was welcomed as a student there. In the dojo, Kai and Selina interacted with each other while Kai was oblivious to the girl being Catwoman. However, he eventually managed to figure it out through their interactions. He wasn't fond of her either because he used to resent her for tainting the ceremony. Kai eventually adopted the moniker of Hellhound and fought Catwoman. However, he lost. Once again, furious and even maddened, Hellhound demanded Catwoman to kill him, not out of embarrassment but to complete the ritual she had interrupted. Turns out, if Kyle killed Kai here, he would be reborn as a true hound of hell. To make things worse for Kai, Catwoman did not kill him. Instead, she scarred his face with her claws. This only added fuel to fire the hatred that burned in Kai's heart. Kai went from being the Armless Master's most accomplished student to falling out of his master's favor. An embarrassed Kai then chose to depart from Gotham City. He began to accumulate his own disciples. He trained them himself, making them capable enough to be hired as mercenaries abroad. Working outside the legal structure of the country, he eventually got involved with Realasia. This Southeast Asian island was a troubled one. The local industries would counterfeit foreign goods for their business and make profits. During this time, he once again crossed paths with a woman he couldn't stand. Catwoman was present here since a Boston-based electronics firm had offered her $50,000 to repossess a certain prototype microchip before anyone on the island could pirate it. Meanwhile, Lady Shiva, an assassin, had killed the Armless Master. Kai's employer, the Collector, asked the two of them to recover the Wheel of Plagues. For this, Hellhound and Catwoman reluctantly allied with one another for the next mission. This wheel was an underground wheel and an ancient journal contained knowledge about it. The inscriptions weren't decipherable in general, but those in the Order of St. Dumas could translate it. With everything falling into place, this should have been a smooth mission for the troubled duo. What complicated the entire situation was the fact that Ra's al Ghul had his eyes on the same artifact as the Collector. Ra's goal of cleansing the earth and the wheel's alleged ability to create a dangerous plague aligned with one another. He hired Bane to assist him in this mission, which meant that they'd come into direct conflict with Hellhound and Catwoman. Kai and Kyle managed to infiltrate the labyrinth and breach it despite the booby traps to find the wheel. However, Bane defeated the both of them to take away the artifact while the duo were imprisoned in Ra's al Ghul compound. At the same time, Batman, Robin, and Nightwing were tracking Bane and Ra's. As Batman engaged Ra's in the fight, Catwoman used the chaos as leverage and freed herself and Hellhound. They escaped, after which they fought each other once again. Too bad for Kai, he experienced defeat in the hands of Kyle once more. He begged her to kill him and again, once more, she spared his life. This time, she tied him up and left. Kai continued his life as a mercenary in Realasia. During this time, local drug kingpin Jackie Parmigiani hired him. The Kingpin used to overlook the kidnappings of tourists and expats and then used them as his slaves while holding them for ransom. Hellhound was hired to be an enforcer. His job was to supervise the guards and kill those who tried to escape or had the potential to do so. In the plantation, Black Canary worked as a slave who unfortunately got tangled in this mess during a mission with the birds of prey. Hellhound recognized Canary the moment he saw her and wanted to fight her to test his skills. He let her escape as he wanted to test out his abilities by hunting her. However, as Canary vanished, Jackie grew furious at Kai. Eventually, the Realassian army raided Jackie's plantation and freed the slaves. With this act, Hellhound's professional reputation as a mercenary took a huge hit, prompting him to return to Gotham City. Now, Kai was reduced to working as a bodyguard for Lou Moxon, a low-level criminal in Gotham's underground. During one of Batman's missions, the Bat pretended to be the crime lord Matches Malone. He intended to unite the rival syndicates as the fake chairman to take control over the mobs in Gotham City. The daughter of Clue Master, Stephanie Brown, was eager to gain Malone's approval, oblivious to it being Batman. She set the plan for the summit where Malone would proceed with his plan. However, Batman was in the dark about this and wasn't aware of the role he would have to play at the summit. Naturally, he failed to show up. Paranoia grew among both sides due to Malone's absence, and there was a firefight. Hellhound was unable to save his boss Moxon from Philo Zeiss, who also ended up killing Kai. The accident created a terrible power vacuum in the underworld, causing Gotham's largest gang wars. Following Hellhound's death, his belongings were handed over to Calculator for reselling his equipment. During this time, a petty thief named Jack Chifford purchased Kai's equipment and costume. The Other Hellhounds. With Kai's belongings, Jack filled in his predecessor's shoes to be the second Hellhound. He worked alongside Derek Coe, a man who claimed to be one who would succeed Black Spider 2. As Calculator had a long-time feud with the Birds of Prey, Jack and Derek decided to become his pawns to aid him. When Calculator reformed his secret society of supervillains, Jack's Hellhound became one of the first recruits. This move helped him garner a good reputation quickly despite being unknown in the underworld not too long ago. However, the society was a government target. Of course, with Hellhound finding himself as a member, he also had to find himself as a prime target for government agencies, namely the Suicide Squad. The squad captured him and he was exiled to a distant planet called Salvation, alongside the second-to-last criminal Batches. As he arrived on the new planet, an alien creature wounded him mortally. It had a barbed stinger which it used to slice open his stomach. The other villains agreed to leave Hellhound behind, but the body doubles forced them to bind Jack's wounds and carry him. However, he was later used as bait to distract monsters known as lion lizards. This allowed the others to make their getaway while Hellhound was devoured. With the second Hellhound gone, the spot was open once again, and it was a spot that was wanted by Jack Chifford's cousin, Devil Dog, and a dog-like metahuman called Anubis. At a title match in El Paso, the two fought one another for the title of Hellhound. However, the Blue Beetle interrupted the match. Disgraced, Anubis and Devil Dog formed the Global Ultra Society of Dread to take down Blue Beetle. The plan failed and they were beaten. They renamed themselves to be the Dog Pound, and it is alleged that Anubis later performed the ritual Kai had tried to perform to become a true Hellhound. What made Hellhound so powerful? Kai was an exemplary martial artist who was the prized disciple of the Armless Master. He had tried to obtain mystic powers, but this plan was foiled by Catwoman time and again. As a result, Kai has no supernatural abilities to rely on, but he makes a successful life for himself as a criminal with his martial arts and experience as a thief. As Hellhound, he also trained dogs for hunting and attacking and was extremely proficient with knives. Despite being knocked down several times, mainly by Catwoman, Hellhound never lost his spirit, which was his real power backup, his elixir. Hellhound in the Justice League animated series. The Justice League Unlimited animated series features Hellhound in one of its episodes. He appears in Season 3, Episode 9 in the episode called Grudge Match. In the episode, the entrepreneur Roulette runs a cage fighting match business called Meta Brawl. Hellhound is a fighter signed under her, but in the episode, Roulette incurs losses, one of the reasons being the low quality of fighters left to her. During one of the matches as Bloodhaven, her business hits rock bottom. Hellhound, who was one of the last fighters left, fought against Shatterfist. However, the crowd was small and they considered the match to be boring, which is the moment that set off the events of this episode. If you watched the show, then it's an easy one to recall. This is the part where several female fighters of the DC, namely Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, Huntress, Canary, and Vixen, fight each other in Roulette's match under the influence of Grodd's mind control technology. The thing about Hellhound here is that his name was never mentioned. Everyone just assumes that it is Hellhound because of the likeliness with reference to martial arts and the costume. It's easy for writers and the audience alike to overlook their minor characters, but DC isn't one to do so, and Hellhound's story proves that. So, what did you think of Hellhound? Did you enjoy this video? If yes, then don't forget to like and comment on this video. Till then, goodbye and have a nice one.